Reading. Damn, I forgot what all that just said.
As usual, here's another 15 cents for sending the opening crawl, which is literally the most iconic opening to a movie ever.
Stormtroopers with infamous bad aim somehow managed to actually kill enough rebel soldiers here to take over the ship.
Repeating the sin from my Rogue One video, wouldn't it be a sin for stormtroopers to miss their targets? You're literally sinning the movie for doing the opposite of that. And shouldn't this scene prove that they don't always miss like the meme suggests?
They survived this.
See, you do sin stormtroopers for missing. I would have let this sin slide if you didn't contradict the literal last thing you said.
Darth Vader could choke fools just by using a hand gesture. We learned that later on in this very movie. So why is he getting all touch me in the morning with this rebel scum, man? Vader's got to get that close to a guy who's committed his life to overthrowing the government. You get that close, homie can grab Vader's lightsaber and kill the Sith out of Mr. Suddenly Touchy-Feely. Yo, Vader, choke that chicken from across the room, bro.
Oh boy. By the way, I know this is copying the Birdman, but pretty much everyone finds Kevin Smith annoying in this video, so this will be the only time I'll let him speak. For the rest of this video, I'll recap what he's saying if I have a response to his sins. But anyway, to quickly respond to this sin, yes, Vader can't force choke, but this also works, doesn't it? I mean, why does this distinction matter? It's not like this is a hindrance to his plan of trying to find the Death Star plans.
And bring me the passengers, I want them alive!
You didn't seem to have a problem firing on the ship or having your stormtroopers blasting away when they torched the door down.
Well, that's because those rebels were obviously there to protect Leia and the plans. Blasting them down is fine, especially since they were firing at them. But they still need prisoners from the rest of the ship.
I'm not getting in bed.
Didn't Vader tell these fools he wanted passengers alive?
These are droids. I highly doubt these stormtroopers would ever assume they put the plans inside one. And besides, unlike living beings, droids can be easily fixed.
Hold your fire. There's no life forms.
So Kevin sends the scene where 3PO and R2 escape through the escape pod and the Imperials don't blast it because there's no life forms. First of all, they probably need to preserve their ammo, and second of all, this is the Empire. They are extremely overconfident and don't think the rebels are that smart. So the idea of the plans being inside that pod wouldn't cross their mind. Not to mention it's going down to Tatooine, a desolate planet out of nowhere. While we know that Obi-Wan is down there, they don't.
They must have short-circuited.
Oh, right. You're right. That stupid assumption is the most likely reason for an escape pod to jettison from a recently captured rebel ship under siege.
Yeah, it's definitely possible for something like that to happen.
An escape pod was jettisoned during the fighting, but no life forms were aboard.
You mean an escape pod? Like one escape pod? Why did the other guy say,
There goes another one?
Which implies more than one?
Dude, come on! Obviously there were multiple pods that flew out, but this guy is making a distinction to point out the specific pod that didn't have life forms. It's so obvious, I feel like a child could figure that out.
Droids are moving so slowly that there's no way they shouldn't be caught immediately by Vader's troopers.
I feel like it would take the Empire a little while to gather a squad of stormtroopers to go down and find the wreckage.
R2?
Well, that's convenient. They spent the whole afternoon going in opposite directions and still got to the same place. Those Jawas cover some damn ground, man.
The Force works in mysterious ways.
Also, do they have this main sandcrawler ship going around while they dump off loads of Jawas to hide in the mountains in case lost robots show up?
No, that's not what happened. When 3PO was captured, it was still daytime, but when R2 was caught, the two suns were setting. This implies some time has passed, and after the Jawas caught 3PO, they then moved to the canyons where they found R2.
I guess you're right, George. This scene felt so incomplete without the CGI riding lizard in the background.
What's wrong with adding some extra scenes like this to expand the universe a little bit? I think that's what most of the special edition changes do for these movies, and I'm fine with that.
Also, isn't it lucky that these things have claws that don't leave any tracks? That makes their appearance more cost-effective and unrealistic.
He says, even though there are tracks right there.
Look, sir, droids.
That conveniently drop pieces of themselves along the way like breadcrumbs.
Jeremy points things out on the screen cliche.
Robot roll call.
Jeremy points things out on the screen cliche. Again.
I suppose you're programmed for etiquette and protocol.
Uncle Owen rejects droids immediately with a simple no, and knows exactly what C-3PO does just by looking at him, but mysteriously talks to him anyway. I'm guessing so C-3PO can persuade Uncle Owen to buy him.
That's probably because 3PO is the only droid here that can speak Galactic Basic. Not to mention protocol droids are well known in the galaxy for being translators, which is what Owen needs. And I guess if you want to take the prequels into account, Owen has technically owned this same droid before, so that's another way he'd know.
Red droid melts down conveniently so that R2 can get a job and stay with his buddies.
The Force works in mysterious ways.
Hey, what are you trying to push on us?
Hey, yeah, I thought you were reputable salesmen with your sandcrawler full of random robot selections.
Jeremy yells at the screen cliche.
What about that one?
What about that blue one?
You mean the one you instantly dismissed earlier?
But 3PO and Luke both suggested him, and the Mandalorian's future droid just broke down. Like, what point are you even making here?
Luke is a teenager who plays with Model T-16 Skyhoppers. Probably so you knew what to buy when you went to the toy store.
Cool. So something in the movie became a toy later on. Shouldn't that be a sin for the entire film industry? Practically everything is being made for toys nowadays.
I'm not even sure which planet I'm on.
Well, if there's a bright center to the universe, you're on the planet that it's farthest from.
So Kevin Smith sends this scene because Luke should have known that 3PO wouldn't understand his sarcasm, and then he randomly says it's a sin that he and R2 aren't sex droids. Trust me, even if you listen to the clip, it still comes out of nowhere.
Who is she? She's beautiful.
How can you tell? It's a blue hologram full of 1970s-ness.
Apparently Jeremy can't tell from this image that Carrie Fisher looks beautiful.
Also, if he can discern whether she's beautiful or not, why can't he figure out that this is Princess Leia? You know about the Civil War going on, and she has the title of princess, so how is she unfamiliar to you?
Even if Luke has heard of her, I doubt he knows what she looks like. Besides, as far as I can tell, Leia hasn't really been in public all that often.
Called Obi-Wan Kenobi. I thought he might have meant old Ben.
Kevin then goes on to criticize Obi-Wan for keeping the name Kenobi while changing his first name to Ben. And while that's a fair point, Kevin also points out that if Obi-Wan had changed his last name, the entire rest of the movie wouldn't have happened. No, that's not true. R2 would have still left to go find Ben, Luke and 3PO would have still gone out to find him, they would have still gotten attacked by sand people, and Obi-Wan would have still been there to save them.
He has too much of his father in him.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Understatement foreshadowing. Is that undershadowing?
Sending foreshadowing for an inexplicable reason.
How is it this dark out with two suns? You'd think the combined power would make it look like daytime out here.
That's not how science works. It would still be this dark since they're relatively close together.
Also, suns this close together would cause wicked insanity on this planet. One sun would heat the other sun, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
After researching that, it seems like that's just straight up wrong. All two suns would do is have different climates.
The director said, okay Luke, just stare at the suns, because any line you might say would honestly make this scene worse.
Sending one of the most iconic scenes in cinema history. That's worth a few extra.
Hit the accelerator.
Who's driving this thing? You or C-3PO?
This dumb question.
He's probably saying, hold your fire, there's no life forms.
Or maybe he's saying it's better to attack once they've stopped.
Now that's a name I've not heard in a long time.
Obi-Wan basically half-truths his way through this entire movie.
Even when he's telling Luke to use the Force to destroy the Death Star?
The Force?
The Force is what gives the Jedi his power. It's an energy field created by all living things.
And something about midichlorians, but that's not nearly as cool as what I'm saying.
Ah, here we go. If you were mad at me earlier for bringing up the prequels, here's Jeremy doing that right now. But why would Obi-Wan bring that up right now? It's not something Luke needs to know. I mean, he is the son of the dadgum chosen one, so it's not like Kenobi needs to do a blood test.
It surrounds us and penetrates us.
The Force kind of sounds like a sex offender.
Thanks for that joke.
Don't try to frighten us with your sorcerer's ways, Lord Vader.
So here there's another Kevin Smith sin, this time about this guy somehow not knowing about Vader's Force abilities. Do you think literally every single Imperial would know about that? Or even if they did, do you think all of them would believe it to be real? The Jedi haven't been around for almost 20 years.
Slow-ass stormtroopers only recently killed these Jawa fools. They left the Star Destroyer 1 minute after the droids, but are somehow a day and a half behind. What the f***?
First of all, they did not leave 1 minute after the droids. Again, it most likely took them a little while to gather troopers and fly down to the escape pod wreckage. And second of all, we don't know exactly how much distance there was from that to this sandcrawler being here, but since it's been about a day, they most likely spent hours trying to find the droids, and they found the sandcrawler while Ben and Luke were chatting.
It looks like the sand people did this all right. I've never heard of them hitting anything this big before.
They didn't. But we are meant to think they did.
Because Imperial stormtroopers know a ton about Tatooine and sand people in order to frame their ass.
I'm pretty sure they don't, though, since Obi-Wan figures out immediately that it wasn't sand people.
And these last points, too accurate for sand people. Only Imperial stormtroopers are so precise.
This laugh. Kevin then asks why the stormtroopers didn't interrogate Owen and Brew instead of burning them alive. Maybe the two of them tried to prevent the troopers from coming in and they killed them, and they tried to find the droids but didn't find them.
Also, how is Leia able to deny the truth serum's effects? Don't tell me she's a Jedi. We don't know that yet, and she doesn't know that yet. And if she Jedi'd her way out of this somehow, Vader would have sensed it.
So let's keep in mind when Lucas wrote this script, he didn't plan on Leia being Luke's sister yet. Originally, the idea was that Leia just had that strong of a will to resist the torture.
Obi-Wan said, "Okay, C-3PO, let's burn a giant pile of Jawa bodies, because that's the absolute last of their race and no one will ever miss them. Burials are for closers only."
CinemaSins' writers said, okay, we need to send the path to sin count and runtime of this video, so let's make a joke around burning Jawa bodies of all things. We have to show as much footage of this movie as we can.
I want to come with you to Alderaan.
Even though I have tons of other options at this point.
Yeah, and that doesn't matter. This is Luke's choice. He wants to help Ben get the plans to Alderaan and then become a Jedi in the process. I take that option too.
Also, Luke doesn't seem all that broken up about his aunt and uncle dying, does he? He must have had a titanic cry on the way to the Jawa massacre site.
Problem is, the Empire is still out there searching for the droids. Luke needs to keep his emotions bottled up for now.
Ew, you got some obvious Phantom Menace in My New Hope.
Sorry to sound pedantic, but technically the CGI came out before Phantom Menace.
This iconic tavern scene does not contain an alien lap dance.
Oof, you can tell this video was old.
Among the many creatures here, Satan also likes to hang out in the cantina.
Sending the inspiration for Berg in The Mandalorian.
What's that flashing?
Luke is the most annoying backseat driver since your mom.
Nah, whiny babies are way more annoying than that.
Commence primary ignition.
It takes 10 seconds for the Death Star to shoot its laser after this. Remember that, kids, when this takes forever later.
How do you know it took 10 seconds? Maybe the movie just cut it down so it feels faster and we don't have to wait so dang long for the Death Star to destroy Alderaan.
You mean it controls your actions?
Partially, but it also obeys your commands.
Oh. Wait, what?
And apparently we're just supposed to accept this guy criticizing movies when he's admitting that he didn't understand this simple idea.
Your eyes can deceive you, don't trust them.
Yeah, but I'm gonna guess your eyes don't deceive you as much as everything else you use to detect things. It's not like the Jedi's going around blindfolding each other before a lightsaber match.
You don't understand this either? Come on, Jeremy. It's way simpler than you're making it out to be. Obi-Wan is trying to teach Luke how to feel objects with their mind and not relying on his eyes, allowing the Force to guide him. This is how Jedi fight and deflect blaster bolts.
Yeah, what a bunch of bullshit that is. This asshole Luke isn't feeling the Force already after spending just a couple hours with that floaty ball.
And why is that? The movie says it does, so what about it supports your point? You have to back up your claims, my guy.
I call it luck.
In my experience, there's no such thing as luck.
You just experience luck. It's okay to give in and accept it.
No, Obi-Wan's point is that it is the will of the Force that causes so-called luck to happen. That's what I've been saying whenever I say the Force works in mysterious ways.
We come out of hyperspace with a meteor shower.
Did they get out of hyperspace just before chunks of Alderaan slammed into their ship?
Yes?
Also lucky is that the Death Star just happens to be around Alderaan right now. That way you can save Princess Leia and this trip won't be meaningless.
Hello? Of course they'd be around Alderaan's remains. It was Leia's home planet and is also where Leia told Ben to deliver the Death Star plans to.
Well, he ain't gonna be around long enough to tell anybody about us.
Why is it taking so long to get in range to blast this one little TIE fighter? This ship made the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs.
Those two things literally have nothing to do with each other. Oh, do you think that the word parsec means time? Silly rabbit.
They must be trying to return the stolen plans to the princess. She may yet be of some use to us.
You can't possibly think that they'll get the idea to rescue Leia from her prison, or that they'll even find out she's here. Remember, it takes a crazy-ass plan to get into the control room and R2 messing around with the computer to even find out that information. Even if you have an idea to capture them, put them in Leia's cell, and hope she blabs to them about where the secret base is, this is silly. Leia bullshit you and proved too strong for the mind probe, so she's officially useless. Darth Vader needs to start setting up charges on the Millennium Falcon, take the Death Star plans back, destroy Luke, and execute Leia at the same time, while his children get baptized in the Catholic Church, Godfather style. Oh, wait.
Yeah, but Vader can see into the future. That's an ability Force users have, so Vader could see that the gang would come and rescue Leia soon.
I sense something. A presence I've not felt since...
Since when? Since when?
Jeremy, you made this video in 2015. You know exactly what he's talking about. The last time they saw each other was on Mustafar when Anakin lost to the high ground. And please don't bring up the Kenobi show.
And why did Obi-Wan get his own compartment while Luke and Han had to go three-way with the Wookiee? That beats my fanfiction, but why?
Who cares?
Scanning the ship requires loading this huge cumbersome box on the ship itself. I know this is set a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, but you have technology that beats us here in 2015. And I know that simple heat signature technology would tell us there are assholes on this ship.
But in some ways, we have technology that surpasses the Star Wars universe, like our computers. Keep in mind when these movies were made. The 70s.
Phallic data extraction.
Jeremy says boner.
Also, thankfully, the Death Star has a computer port that has access to the entire station that also happens to match R2-D2's output thingy.
How many times do you make this exact complaint? The Empire has their own astromech droids as well, so obviously they need ports like this.
What is it?
I'm afraid I'm not quite sure, sir. He says I found her and keeps repeating she's here.
Well, who? Who has he found?
Princess Leia.
You just said you didn't know who he was talking about, and R2-D2 has not said anything since the conversation started.
No, 3PO said, "I'm afraid I'm not quite sure, sir," after Luke asked, "What is it?" Then 3PO says that R2 said, "She's here." I'm sure 3PO could figure out that it's Leia.
Well, more wealth than you can imagine.
Luke is drawn by the power of boners to take on the whole goddamn Death Star, and Han is drawn by the power of money boners.
Jeremy says boner 2 more times.
Stormtrooper aim is only good while good guys occupy the costumes, although it still kind of takes them a while too.
But didn't you literally make a point in saying Stormtroopers hit their targets in the Thurston of this video? Why are you saying aim is only good in this particular scenario?
Boring conversation anyway.
I'm surprised this radio didn't shoot Han first.
Oh, sorry. I forgot. I was supposed to laugh at that, wasn't I? No, I can't even pretend to laugh.
There's something alive in here.
The Empire just recently threw a live swimming creature into this garbage disposal, just before our heroes jumped down in it. Because how else would it have survived the numerous amounts of compacting unless it's Gumby or some shit?
I mean, it's a relatively unique creature. Maybe it's adapted to this kind of environment. You don't know.
How does Luke get swallowed whole by the shallow water this creature is in?
By the way you show in this clip.
If you hurry, you might catch them.
These still aren't the droids we're looking for.
Because apparently these stormtroopers should just assume that these 2 droids aren't with them and are secretly with the rebellion.
Willstorm Helm Trooper.
Sending the Wilhelm scream.
If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Basically, I'll be able to occasionally talk to Luke through ghost power. So there.
And also be all over the galaxy wherever he wants to. And I guess if you want to count the sequel trilogy as canon, have the ability to burn Jedi temples with a drop of a finger.
Honestly, this is pretty badass, and it makes sense for the plot too. Obi-Wan knows he's outmatched, he knows Luke would stick around to try and save him and would never get on the ship. And so, we will remove 5 sins for Obi-Wan's badassery right here.
While I appreciate the sin removal, I don't appreciate a ding sound effect playing making it sound like sins are being added.
That's it! We did it!
We did it!
For the record, Princess Leia is a badass, but in this scene, she didn't do anything.
Except tell Luke and Han about the targets and help them aim. I even showed that in my intro for this video.
You're sure the homing beacon is secure aboard their ship?
This might explain why the stormtroopers were so awful at shooting our heroes earlier, but how did they coordinate this plan with everyone on the Death Star? Was it, make the shooting look good but don't hit them? You might die, but it's for the greater good. Or did Vader set it up so the heroes could escape, but didn't mind if they got killed in the process?
It was probably the former. Do you know who the Empire are? They don't give a crap about lives. If stormtroopers have to die so they can find the rebel base and destroy the people that have been messing with them for years, then so be it.
They're tracking us.
Not this ship, sister.
Well, your male confidence certainly is convincing. I guess we should just go straight to the rebel base without any precautions.
While yes, they know that they are being tracked, they still have to get the plans to the rebels so they can blow up the Death Star. Might as well bring them right to the base so the X-Wings and Y-Wings don't have to travel very far.
An analysis of the plans provided by Princess Leia.
Princess Leia.
Coming from the guy who couldn't pronounce half the names in the Lord of the Rings videos, that's pretty rich. Although I guess I said Saruman wrong, so just imagine another sin for myself.
We're passing through the magnetic field.
For some reason, the Death Star doesn't use its tractor beam to render these ships useless. Obi-Wan turned it off, but he didn't destroy it.
I don't think the Empire even knows that it was turned off. And even if they try to go and turn it back on, it would probably take them a little bit and have the defenses outside the Death Star already, which includes cannons and TIE fighters.
We've analyzed their attack, sir, and there is a danger. Should I have your ship standing by?
Or maybe get some of our ships in formation over the one weakness this entire space station has, so that a direct hit doesn't destroy us.
Yeah, but they don't know about the weakness.
Just like old times, man. They'll never stop you.
Jeremy, you already made this point a few sins ago.
We'll hear all your stories when we get back, all right?
It'll be like old times, Luke. They'll never stop us.
This guy is trying to jinx the entire mission, and he's definitely dead.
So this is double dipping of the same thing.
Use the Force, Luke.
Your targeting computer is a piece of dog shit, Luke.
Sending this awesome scene.
Commence primary ignition.
So remember that earlier sin about the Death Star taking only 10 seconds to fire Alderaan? Yeah, Kevin Smith brings that up again here, but how it takes 48 seconds to shoot Yavin. I already explained myself earlier, and this is also just double dipping, so 2 extra sins for that, as usual.
God, how can you not get the chills? I'll take another 5 off for Luke's hit here because the execution of this scene is awesome.
Again, I appreciate the sin removal, but again, the sound effect was different while it happened. and especially with it being on such a great scene. Next thing you'll tell me is that you'll add a sin for I am your father. But come on, you wouldn't do that, right? Right? Sinning foreshadowing for an inexplicable reason. Sinning foreshadowing for an inexplicable reason. I think that's the first time I've actually said the word inexplicable. Definitely a tongue twister there. But why would Obi-Wan bring that up right now? It's not something Luke needs to know. I mean, he is the son of the dadgum chosen one, so it's not like Kenobi needs to do a blood test. For some reason, it's really hard saying Obi-Wan. I don't know. He's my favorite character, but I can't say his name right anytime. Obi-Wan, but it's like when I'm saying it in a sentence, it's difficult for me. Like, I have no idea what that's about. So let's make a joke around burning Jawa bodies of all things. We have to show as much footage of this movie as we can. We have to show as much footage. We have to show much footage of this. We have to show as much footage of this movie as we can. That's good enough. Yeah, and that doesn't matter. This is Luke's choice. He wants to help Obi-Wan get the... I'm just gonna say Ben. This is the one movie where I can get away with not saying Obi-Wan's name. Just say Ben. Jeremy, you made this video in 2015. You know exactly what he's talking about. The last time they saw each other was on Mustafar when Obi-Wan lost the high ground. They don't give a crap about lives. If stormtroopers have to die, so they can find the rebels... If stormtroopers have to die so they can find the rebel base and destroy the people that have been messing with them for years. If stormtroopers have to die so they can find the rebel base and destroy the people that have been messing with them for years. I really don't like how fast I'm saying this, but I don't want to say this too slowly. If stormtroopers I keep thinking I'm saying stormtroopers, but stormtroopers. I keep thinking I say stormtroopers, you know, like it's stormtroopers. If stormtroopers have to die so they can find the rebel base and destroy the people that have been messing with them for years, then so be it. Nailed it!